Hi everyone. Welcome to Turkish series stars. All the juicy details are in our video, and before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to Turkish series stars and share this video so you never miss the latest from your favorite screen legends. Thank you so much for being here. Now, let's talk about the moment that set the gossip world on fire. Elçin Sengu, the radiant face of romantic dramas, went on a live program and, with a glow that could light up a set all by itself, finally spoke openly about what fans have whispered about for years. With a candid smile and a voice that carried both excitement and calm certainty, Elçin confirmed that she and Barış Arduç are getting married. It wasn't a headline crafted by a publicist, it wasn't a rumor swirling through backstage corridors. It was her, in real time, choosing to let everyone in on a secret that, as it turns out, had already nestled itself into her heart. From the first seconds, the atmosphere in the studio changed. The host, clearly taken by the sincerity of the moment, leaned in and asked the question that had been building since the opening credits. So, when is the wedding? Elçin, who for years perfected the art of sidestepping private questions with charm and wit, didn't dance around it this time. She let out a soft laugh, the kind that makes you feel like her friend, and said preparations had already begun. There was a date circled on the calendar, she explained, and while they hadn't planned extravagance, they had planned meaning. A summer celebration, intimate and warm, surrounded by the people who have carried them through the wildest of schedules and the hardest of days. She described a ceremony that wouldn't be about spectacle but about story, their story. She imagined sunshine that doesn't blind but blesses, music that doesn't shout but embraces, and a guest list that leans more toward close arms than wide eyes. It would not be open to the lens of every stranger, she suggested, but rather to those who know how they became who they are together. It sounded like a vow in itself, to keep what matters close, without apology. And then came the twist that made the studio fall silent. Her revelation about a date that had taken on new meaning in her life, her birthday. This year, she said, that day had become a symbol of renewal, a small yet mighty reminder that the heart writes timelines the mind cannot predict. The audience sensed it, that behind the calm was a woman stepping into another chapter with courage. When she spoke of her long-held dream of a family, she didn't dress it up in fairy dust. She kept it honest. Sometimes life takes your hand when you least expect it and walks you somewhere you never thought you'd go, she said, and for a moment even the cameras seemed to lean closer. Social media erupted before the credits rolled. Within minutes, fans of Elçin and Barış were flooding timelines, stitching together throwback clips, posting behind-the-scenes memories, and celebrating what many called the sweetest plot twist of all. The on-screen magic of two stars finally writing their off-screen ending together. For years, whispers followed them like a soundtrack. They were spotted at black tie events and quiet cafes, photobombed by city lights and passing strangers, yet they always kept something sacred between them. The rumors flickered, faded, and reignited with every new season, but neither of them stepped out to stamp a headline on their hearts. Last night, that changed. Elçin's words were received as a gentle but unmistakable signal, there's nothing left to conceal. And right on cue, Barış added his own quiet punctuation after the show, a single photo, thoughtfully chosen, and a brief note that read more like a promise than a post. It was enough. In a digital world addicted to noise, their simplicity spoke louder. The reaction was instant. A modern fairy tale, some wrote. The most compatible duo our screens have ever known, declared others. The wedding of the year is coming, trended like a drumbeat across platforms, and suddenly every detail became a treasure hunt. Was it a coastal venue? A rustic garden? A rooftop at sunset? The speculation continued, and with it, the reminder that when two people who know how to make millions believe in love also choose to honor their own, the public can't help but cheer. What struck everyone most wasn't just the announcement, but the tone of it all. After the show, commentators couldn't stop talking about the serenity in her face, a happiness that seemed anchored rather than drifting. It felt like a decision not made on a whim, but nurtured, defended, and protected over time. She emphasized that marriage, for her, wasn't an obligation or a performance. It wasn't something she felt pushed into by fans or the industry. It was simply the direction their lives had been moving in naturally, step by step, as calmly as two people walking home together after a long day. Young fans especially applauded her words, seeing in them a blueprint for love that doesn't rush where it doesn't belong. Then came the part that turned nostalgia into a narrative. She hinted that their bond didn't spring fully formed from the spotlight, it was seated in friendship and cultivated in the toughest seasons of their careers. Anyone who watched them on set years ago saw the chemistry. But Elçin reminded everyone that chemistry is only magic on screen if companionship is strong off it. She described grueling schedules and long nights, the way they learned to interpret each other's silences, the way they took turns being the steady one. Our calendars can be relentless, she said, but when you truly understand each other, even the chaos starts behaving. The confession didn't just explain their longevity. It illuminated it. If you're looking for a headline-grabbing venue or a designer dress that needs its own bodyguard, this may not be that story. Elçin made it clear that they're dreaming of quiet elegance. She spoke of textures and tones that feel like them, soft, natural light, photographs that look like memories instead of magazine covers, a dress that belongs to her life and not to a runway. According to those close to the couple, the plan is refinement without flamboyance. Lists are short. Invitations are personal. Even the preparations have been tucked away from prying eyes, shared only with a circle small enough to hug. What really stirred the rumor mill, though, was the way she talked about dates. Fans hung on every syllable, trying to decode whether her mention of timing hinted at more than a wedding. Was it a nod to a birthday that now feels like a beginning? Was it playful misdirection? Or was she carefully protecting a dream that isn't ready for the spotlight? She didn't say more, and she didn't need to. The speculation kept spinning, but the dominant sentiment was not suspicion, it was tenderness. Viewers felt a woman gently marking milestones according to her own compass, and a man choosing to stand quietly beside her while the world asks for more. Not long after the program ended, Barış's post sealed the mood. It was a single, meaningful frame, two intertwined shadows at golden hour, paired with a caption that read like a sigh of relief and a vow of presence. It wasn't a grand pronouncement, but the effect was undeniable. Fans dubbed the moment a happy ending that is really just a hopeful beginning. The anticipation for the ceremony switched from loud to reverent. Suddenly the countdown wasn't about a spectacle but about witnessing the next chapter of a story everyone feels a little invested in. And yet, even as hearts were drifting toward wedding bells, talk turned back to work, because that's also who they are. According to those in the know, Elçin has been telling her inner circle that marriage won't dim her ambitions. If anything, certainty is sharpening her focus. She's reading scripts with deliberate care, listening for characters who challenge her, and curating a schedule that respects her life as much as her craft. This is not a pause. It's an alignment. She's set on choosing projects that won't force her to trade serenity for spotlight, and it seems the industry is more than ready to accommodate. Throughout this quiet storm, Barış has been the steady hum of support. Friends say he calls this decision the best step of his life, a moment he had been patient for without ever pressing. He reportedly shared the news with close confidants long before the rest of us heard it, speaking less like a man making an announcement and more like one expressing gratitude. If they are often out of the glare, it isn't because they hide. It's because they prefer their love to feel like a home, not a billboard. The message is clear, they're choosing peace in a world that sells pandemonium. There's even talk of a honeymoon plan that is short and sweet. A slice of time carved out between demanding projects, a few weeks stolen just for them. No extended vanishing acts, no long, elaborate itinerary, just a romantic escape designed to let them inhale before they return to the sets, the scripts, and the restless rhythm that made their names known in the first place. Even their getaway, it seems, is being designed with their signature blend of calm and intention. Nothing loud. Everything sincere. After the broadcast, congratulatory messages poured in. Colleagues, directors, longtime crew members, and celebrated names across the industry sent notes laced with admiration. What touched people most was how personally Elçin responded. No copy-paste thank yous, just real words, tailored to decades-old friendships and sudden warm wishes alike. There's a generosity in that, the same generosity people see in the way she holds a scene, in the way he listens. Around them, a circle of support has formed, not the brittle kind fueled by plate-spinning publicity, but a soft, resilient ring of people who want them to be happy for a long time. And so, the question on every gossip column's front page is the same: what will it feel like when the big day arrives? Will there be a breeze off the sea? Will the music come from a small quartet or a single guitar? Will her dress be the whisper everyone expects? Will his smile give away if he cried a little? There's a sense that whatever they choose will end up defining romance for the season, not because of the sparkle, but because of the intention. Theirs is a love story that has learned patience, and now it is finally allowing itself to be seen. Back to the moment that started it all, a live broadcast, a poised star with bright eyes, choosing clarity over mystery. In a world where most revelations are choreographed, this one felt handcrafted. Her expression never betrayed anxiety, only a kind of anchored happiness that made the news feel less like a surprise and more like a confirmation of what many already felt in their bones. Perhaps that is why the announcement traveled the way it did, like a secret many people were happy to share, not because it was scandalous, but because it was beautiful. Still, even beauty meets reality, and the reality is that both of them keep fast company with new characters, challenging directors, and ambitious schedules. Fans are already connecting dots between upcoming projects and the quiet promise of their private life. Elçin, sources say, is mapping her choices to a rhythm that lets her act with abandon and live with intention. It is not an easy choreography, but it is one she has been practicing for years. The art of being present in two worlds that rarely slow down. Barış, for his part, seems to be embracing this new balance with his own brand of understated strength. Those who know him well describe a man who measures twice and cuts once, who prefers milestones to speak for themselves. His short caption after the announcement said so much because he chose to say so little. The photo looked like a promise kept. The silence around it felt like trust earned. Their fans saw it and recognized something real, something worth waiting for. As for the ceremony itself, nothing official has leaked, at least not from them. The only consistent rumor is that it will be a master class in subtlety. There may be a coastal setting, there may be a garden kissed by evening light, there may be a rooftop that cradles the city without giving it center stage. They seem determined to make the day inhale rather than shout. It's a rare thing in the era of spectacles, and that is precisely why people are so enthralled. In the wake of all this, one theme keeps returning: gratitude. Gratitude for a journey that began as an onset friendship and matured into a partnership built on mutual rescue during hard days. Gratitude for a community that has celebrated them without forcing them into corners. Gratitude for the kind of love that knows how to be soft but doesn't collapse under pressure. It is written in every smile they've flashed in recent weeks, every quiet gesture picked up by those paying attention. And now, with the countdown quietly ticking, the city seems to listen for clues. If their union is a secret, it's the kind everyone feels invited to respect. If their plans are private, it's privacy that even the spotlight appears to honor. We have seen them sparkle on screen, we have seen them sidestep the frenzy with elegance, and now we may see them celebrate with a warmth that confirms what fans have been certain of all along, that sometimes the best stories are not the loud ones, but the ones told in voices soft enough to be believed. This is where we'll leave it for today. From the first whisper to the last post, every moment has felt like a page turning with care. The announcement wasn't a cliffhanger, but a promise. The reactions weren't just noise, but joy. And the days ahead will be filled with the kind of anticipation that makes even ordinary afternoons feel a little more golden. We'll be watching every step, quietly, closely, and with the same affection that has always surrounded them. If you enjoyed this story, make sure you're subscribed to Turkish Series Stars and share the video so others can hear it too. Until next time, stay tuned to Turkish Series Stars for more heartfelt moments and unforgettable revelations.